What's up, y'all? This is your boy Eddie Jackson. Welcome back to the Drop That Podcast. Before we get into some hip-hop talk, this episode is brought to you by Laidback TV, okay? Over 10,000 channels, movies on demand, every sports channel, all the HBOs, every languages, okay? And you can go on laidbacktv.com to see how you can download it on your iPhones and your Androids, you know, on your Apple stores and your Play stores, and you can ask any questions you want on their Instagram and official_laidbacktv. Now, let's not waste any time because we got a lot of digest on this shit. Let's get into the episode for Hip Hop Talk. Whoa! Alright, guys. So, something last night went down. Okay? Alright. So, for Hip Hop Talk, this is what we're gonna do. This was the Versus battle that went live on Apple Music, okay? It was streaming, and it was Cash Money Records versus No Limit Records. There are past episodes where I spoke on this, where, in my opinion, based off the tools that they have, okay? Based off the tools that they have, who I think should win, right? So, based off the tools I believe, and you gotta understand, in order to understand where I'm coming from, you gotta be a fan of Versus, okay? How it was brought up, it was fucking 2 seasons of it, multiple genres, talking hip-hop, R&B, pop, classic type shit, you know what I mean? I don't think they had any rock, but it started off on Instagram Live because it was during the pandemic. Nobody could be in the same places. No. And you do 20 rounds. This is the rules, the main rules. 20 rounds of playing your best records. Okay? 20 rounds of your best records. You get a verse and a hook. Now, you may even get the beginning of the hook. You know, hook, verse, hook. Or you can just do hook, verse. You know what I mean? But you only get one verse. You know? So, that's how it was on Instagram Live. Getting into, like, certain time periods on season 2, they became performances. Only one battle became a rematch. That was Swiss Beats versus Timbaland. I think the first match, Timbaland won, and the second match, Swiss Beats won. Okay, you play your best records, but you're not just playing the best records. You're playing what records to battle the other one on that round, on each round. You know what I'm saying? So I'll use, for an example, a past match. Nelly versus Ludacris. I would say, let me see, what's Ludacris' best type shit, you know, commercially. How about Stand Up by Ludacris? Okay, he plays that, and then what would Nelly play after? Probably Hot in Here. Okay, so that's an example. You know, we've had Ludacris versus Nelly, like I said. We had T-Pain versus Little John. Let me see what else we had. We had I already said Swiss versus Timbaland. Oh, Dipset versus The Lox. We had Ja Rule versus Fat Joe. These were iconic, you know what I mean? And, you know, these are based off the rules. So, I stated, right, and you can go back on the episodes to see if I'm bullshitting. I stated, and I got into arguments with motherfuckers on TikTok and Facebook. You know what I mean? Because these motherfuckers were dick riding, you know, fucking biased ones. And don't get it twisted. I'm a fan of both. I grew up on Cash Money. I grew up on No Limit. Okay? When you look at the big juggernauts, if you look at Cash Money Records, who's the big juggernauts? If you had to pick 2, you know, in my opinion, on Cash Money, the 2 biggest juggernauts in the history of Cash Money Records, Juvenile, Lil Wayne. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I want to say Birdman. I wouldn't even say Big Timers. I want to say Hot Boys. Hot Boys were, you know, BG and Turk were in jail for a majority of the years. So, I want to say that. So I'll say Juvie, and I'll say Lil Wayne. There was a time there was Juvie, and there was a time there was Wayne. For No Limit, I would say one of them is Mystical. You can make a case for Master P. You know what I'm saying? But two of your biggest juggernauts are in jail right now. That's Mystical and C Murder. Now, compared to BG and Turk, who were incarcerated, I think Mystical is top level than both of those, than both BG and Turk. C Murder, who's also incarcerated as we speak, I think he's bigger than Turk, but I don't think he's bigger than BG. You know what I'm saying? So, Cash Money, the main key players are all out, and they went on tour together. You know what I'm saying? I think they went on tour together, if not, but they did the reunion concert, okay? You had both the big timers, Birdman and Manny Fresh. You had all the Hot Boys out, Juvenile, Lil Wayne, Turk, and BG. Okay? With your biggest hits, you should be able to at least get 15 rounds out of 20. Easy. Probably close. So, as far as big records of No Limit, they have great records. But, it's kind of hard, to state which ones are those. You know what I'm saying? You can state which ones are those, but compared to what you're going to go up against in the rounds. So, here's how we're going to break it down, right? I'm going to state everything that I digest on Versus, okay? Everything that I digest on watching it, how it was. Then I'm going to state who was there from what I see and who was the best performers from both camps. And when I'm done with that, we're going to go each round. Who I think won, in my opinion, okay? And then what songs were the honoraries that didn't get played, because there were a lot of records that didn't get played that should have. All right, so let's begin. All right, so I digest this. It was Complex and Apple Music joining forces for Versus to, bring us this iconic moment. And this is just me as a Versus fucking perspective, okay? I'm a fan of what happened last night, okay? Salute to Cash Money Records and No Limit Records for giving us fans who grew up on them the motherfucking moment that we never thought would ever be possible. Two fucking iconic labels from New Orleans that on the same stage giving us hits. So shout out Hip Hop 1, okay, on that one. In the beginning, it was they were late. The thing started late. Cash Money had a mic. No Limit apparently didn't have a mic. They were talking about a coin toss, like it was a football game, on who goes first, who goes last. They didn't even do a coin toss. It was late to do it, and they still didn't get to do it. The stream started off freezing, but it got better later down the road, so not too crazy about it. Let me see what else I took upon it. Remember how I stated it's one verse a piece, right? One hook, one verse. Next one. One hook, one verse, new round. You know what I mean? They were allowing 2 verses or more for each song. They were doing the whole song. Make them say, had the whole song minus Mystical's verse. So that's 4 verses. Master P, Fiend, Silk Shocker, and Mia X. This shit was going way too long. And because of that, the thing had to end early, so it wasn't even 20 rounds. It was 12. 12 fucking rounds, you know what I'm saying? So, it was kind of fucked up. Excuse me. Yeah, it was kind of fucked up how they had to end early because the establishment venue that they were performing at had a limit on time where they had to shut the fucker down. So we only got 12 rounds and not 20. So there was songs that didn't get played. So we'll get into that. Yeah, but that was the cause of all the verses. You know what I mean? Like, you're doing too long of the song. Get to the point. Get the best verse. So you could tell this shit was not too much rehearsed. There was no control. Where the fuck was Timbaland? Where the fuck was Swizz Beatz? They should have been there to keep this shit intact. You know what I mean? Or at least hire somebody who does. It was just weird. So I think it was no control. Birdman was shit in the bed. You know what I mean? Like, this guy was fucking weird, man. I don't know what the fuck he be doing. He took the mic at the end of it and shit it on Turk. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Shit it on Turk and give a shout out to NBA Youngboy. This shit had nothing to do with NBA Youngboy. Respectfully, it had nothing to do with him. Okay, he wasn't in that era. It was barely a fucking jit. But shit on Turk, like, come on, bro. That didn't make Cash Money didn't even give a good look. And lastly, Miss Mercedes. If you don't know who the fuck she is, Google the shit. She was part of No Limit. Miss Mercedes got on a fucking put out a video that she got denied to perform on stage and someone else rapped her song. If that's true, that's fucked up. Okay, that's fucked up. So, shout out Miss Mercedes. Let me see. Everyone that I noticed that was on stage for both camps, as far as Cash Money records go, obviously Juvenile was there, Manny Fresh, Birdman, and BG. No Turk, no Wayne. What the fuck was that? Your biggest juggernaut out of those two is not even nowhere in sight. But on No Limit side, we have obviously Master P, Mia X, the first lady of No Limit, Silk the Shocker, Chopper, which I was shocked. I forgot about Chopper, bro. Snoop Dogg made an appearance. Romeo was on stage. It took me a long time to realize that was fucking him. Fiend, one of my favorites out of No Limit, and Mac. Holy shit. No Limit came to represent, bro. Best performers. Out of Cash Money, I'll give a shot, give big ups to Manny Fresh, but Juvenile was the fucking MVP of Cash Money. Yes, right. My nigga Juvenile killed it. Y'all motherfuckers must have forgot. They should do a solo verses with Juvenile and someone else. I'll think about that. It might take me a while, but Juvenile should definitely do his own verses. Because y'all niggas forgot about Juvie. My nigga. Out of No Limit, you had Fiend. He fucking killed his verse. Chopper came in there. Chopper City. Shout out to Chopper. I mean, they cut him off at the knees with his second verse. Because Chopper style was the second verse was my favorite. Let me see. Snoop Dogg. Shout out to Snoop. Silk the Shocker. I was never a fan of Silk the Shocker too much. You know what I mean? He can damn sure write. He got bars, but it's more like his delivery was just all over the place. Always sounded like he was offbeat. Mia X, yo, shout out Mia X. Mama Drama. She fucking killed it. Woman is in her 50s, and she killing it like she's in her 20s, yo. Shout out to Mia X. She killed that shit. That's No Limits MVP. Now that we got that out of the way, let's go round by round, and we're going to judge it out of this, okay? They didn't have a coin toss, like I said, so Cash Money just volunteered to go first. So straight out the gate, they came blazing. No fucking pun intended. Juvenile with his self-titled track from one of his albums, 400 Degrees. You see me, I eat, sleep, shit, and talk rap. Holy shit. Juvie came out blazing, guns blazing. You know what I'm saying? And No Limit came with their first track on the first round. No Limit Soldiers by True. That's a good record, but compared to 400 Degrees, sorry. It's kind of hard to battle Juvie. Juvie had nothing but classics that aged well over the years. So I gave round one to Juvenile. I'm sorry, Cash Money, courtesy of Juvenile. Second round, Cash Money came back, guns blazing. Big Timers with Ate Up Boo, what a Gucci suit. Still Fly. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. From the album Hood Rich. Still Fly from Big Timers. And then round 2 for No Limit came off as Break You Off. Master P featuring UGK. Rest in peace to Pimp C. Damn. Honestly, that was a hard one because I really did not like. I think that was bad choice. Bad choice. Good record, but bad choice from No Limit on that one. So, respectfully, I had to give it to Cash Money on that one. Was Still Fly. So it's 2-0. Round 3, Cash Money Millionaires, Project Chick. Woo! And round 3 went to Mia X. I'm so shocked they gave Mia X an actual joint to do her thing. But yeah, Freak Hooks. Mia X. Sorry, Mia. No disrespect. You love your girl, but Project Chick aged well. I gotta give it a Project Chick on that one. So 3-0. Cash Money's up. Let me see. Round 4. Another Juvie record from his classic album 400 Degrees. Rich Niggas by Juvenile. From Cash Money side. And for round 4, How You Do That by Master P. Sorry, P, this did not go well. So Rich Niggas got this one. I gave it to Cash Money. So it's 4-0. Round 5. This one was a little bit difficult. This one's a little bit difficult. So let me see. It was round 5. It was Cash Money is an Army by BG and Bourbons and Lax by Master P on the No Limit side. So Cash Money got Cash Money is an Army by BG and No Limit got Bourbons and Lax for Master P. I had to give it to Bourbons and Lax. Master P. No Limit got one. They got on the scoreboard. So we're gonna keep score because I'm doing this on the fly. You know what I'm saying? I made sure I wrote them, but I judged them. So Cash Money 1, 2, 3, and 4. No Limit got 1. All right, so we're 4-1 right now. Round 6. Okay, round 6. This one was a fucking tough one. Juvenile featuring Soulja Slim, may he rest in peace. Slow Motion taking on No Limit side Mac. I Can Tell. Y'all remember that joint? I can look in your eyes. I can tell you wanna fuck. Damn, that was a hard one because them two, they killed it on the radio waves. But which one had a bigger impact? I think because of Soulja Slim, may he rest in peace, Cash Money took that one. You know what I mean? Respectfully. I think if that wasn't that record didn't exist, that definitely No Limit would have been taking that. Okay, round 7. Bling Bling by BG featuring Hot Boys and Big Timers. Taking on Silk the Shocker, It Ain't My Fault. Now, this record is very interesting because of the simple fact there was a part 1 and a part 2. We can't stop. We don't try. You just soldiers. Till we die. That was part 1. Oh, it ain't my fault. Did I do that? That's part 2. You know what I mean? They always tend to combine part 1 and 2. You know what I mean? I feel like part 2 is what they wanted to do with part 1, but they didn't get a chance to. So, Bling Bling BG taking on Silk the Shocker's It Ain't My Fault. It Ain't My Fault, I think, is Silk the Shocker's biggest fucking record. Now, with that being said, sorry. When, in my era, okay? In my fucking era, It Ain't My Fault, even though it's a Silk the Shocker record, don't go nowhere without Mystical. And Mystical was the most talked about from that record. Just saying. So, sorry, Silk. Gotta give it to Cash Money's Bling Bling. That stood out a hell of a lot more. BG's biggest record. That was BG's biggest record versus Silk the Shocker's biggest record. Okay? So, let me see. Okay, where we at? That was round 7. So now we're at round 8. Here it gets dicey, okay? It gets dicey. So it's Juvenile's set it off. Woody, set it off in this motherfucker. Woo! Okay. Juvenile set it off from his album Project English, taking on Master P, Ice Cream Man. Even though that's a fucking longevity, because Master P is known as the Ice Cream Man. I'm sorry, going up against Juvenile is fucking tough. That's like going against Lil Wayne. It's kind of hard to say it. I gotta give it to Cash Money. Cash Money is up by 7-1. Okay? Okay, so, now we're getting dicey. That was round 8. Round 9, Birdman was there to talk his shit. Saying first man to get ice in his teeth. You know what I'm saying? Diamonds in his teeth. Fucking tattoos on his face. All of that shit. He's the number one stunner. What? The number one stunner. What? That's right. The number one stunner by Birdman. Taking on in round 9. Bout It by True. Holy shit. All right. That was tough. Even though number one stunner had a lot of radio play, gotta give it to True. Bout It, round 9 goes to No Limit instantly. Okay? Round 10. Okay. This was a fucking hit. This one was getting the Big Timers their moment. Everybody get your roll on. That's right. Get your roll on by Big Timers in round 10. They came guns blazing with Big Timers records, okay? But get your roll on by Big Timers in round 10. Got shut the fuck down by Master P. Make them say, na. Yes. Instantly, Master P gets the win on that one. No Limit is coming back. We're now 7-3. 7-3. You know what I'm saying? 7-3. It's getting dicey. But what fucked a lot of that up, Master P did his verse. Fiend, Silk the Shocker, and Mia X all did their verses. You took way too much time. We could have got more rounds with that. Moving on. Round 11. Hot Boys featuring the Big Timers. I Need a Hot Girl. Cash Money came with a fucking haymaker. Right? I Need a Hot Girl. Okay? Now, Cash Money fucked up because, you got Birdman's verse, you got BG's verse. My opinion, the fucking best verse out of there was Turk. I like them hot, the ones that don't tell me to stop, eat dick, swallow the cum, and they know how to pop. I need a project, bitch, a hood rat bitch. The one that don't give a fuck and says she took that dick. Best verse. Best fucking verse. Shout out to Turk on that one. But since Turk is not there, y'all fucked up. Because what did No Limit do? They hit you with a surprise heat seeker out of nowhere. Boom! Out of the park with a motherfucking home run. Chopper style. Chopper City. Chopper, the man returned. Chopper came with Chopper style. Chop, chop, choppers up. Chopper style. Chop, chop. She loved chop, chop. She loved chop, chop. That's definitely a point on No Limit's side. So shout out No Limit. They took that round 11. Now it's getting interesting because now 7-4. 7-4. Okay? Round 12. This is where they lost me. I was confused as fuck because they made the announcement that, we got to shut this down because they took too long, whatever the case is. Manny Fresh, shout out to him. He made that announcement. Round 12. This is what Cash Money did, which I don't understand why they did this. You know what I'm saying? I have no idea why they fucking did this because now it's weird. Round 12, Cash Money chose Lil Wayne's A Milli. I don't know why. I said this to everyone, it don't make sense to do anything Carter 3 or Carter 2 related. Hell, I would go on a limb and say maybe Carter 1. Go DJ. That was a Manny Fresh record. So, but, I said if Wayne shows up, give the people something they never expected. Not mixtape Wayne, not Carter Serious Wayne, not Not a Human Being Wayne. Give us the Block is Hot, your first single. There's no Wayne, so you don't do that. A Millie, there's no Wayne. They're just playing the record, so there's no Wayne performing anything. What did they return with? Down for My Niggas, a C Murder record. But because C Murder did not show up, because he's incarcerated, Snoop Dogg showed up and did his verse. Now, what's weird about it is that I think there was some miscommunication, because they played Down for My Niggas. It's featured C Murder, Mr. Magic, may he rest in peace, and Snoop Dogg. They played the first two verses, which was C Murder and Magic, and then let Snoop do his verse, which was weird. Should have did the hook, Down for My Niggas, and then Snoop's verse. Get it out the way. Snoop was like prepared for his fucking verse, and he didn't even get to fucking do it. You know what I'm saying? It was a little weird. It was a little weird, a little miscommunication. But because you do not have Lil Wayne, and because Down for My Niggas, C Murder is not there, should that be a disqualification? Should that be a tie? No. Snoop came because you didn't see Snoop coming. Boom. He gets that point right on the scoreboard for No Limit. Now we talking, because No Limit is coming back. But it's too late, because they were trying to get around 13, and what did they have? They let them perform it. Cash Money was going to do Back That Ass Up by Juvenile. Now, that wouldn't have been fair, because anything up against Back That Ass Up is definitely not going to work. It's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to win with Back That Ass Up. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of fucked up, you know what I mean? Because if Lil Wayne was there, Lil Wayne could come back as Snoop after his performance of Down for My Niggas and say, hey, Snoop, I love you, bro. You the unk. But I love also that record you got, Drop It Like It's Hot. You know who came with that shit first? I did. Now back that up, then stop, drop it like it's hot. Because Wayne came out with it first, and it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense at all. But it's over. It had to shut down early, so we finished the rounds at 12. So, based off this, Cash Money wins 7-5. I don't think it's fair. I think No Limit was just getting started. You know, so I think No Limit got cheated out of the situation. They should have been given an opportunity to finish. You know what I'm saying? Finish the whole battle. But, you know, it is what it is. 7-5, that's not really bad. I was calling it a little bit early, and then, you know, there was still records. Now, here's the notable records that they could have performed on Cash Money and No Limit side, okay? Cash Money still had Ha, the first single from 400 Degrees by Juvenile. Didn't even get to play that. I Got That Fire, Juvenile featuring Manny Fresh. They could have played that. Big Timers, This Is How We Do from Big Money Heavyweight. Birdman, What Happened to That Boy. We could have had that. You know what I'm saying? That's a Cash Money release. Juvenile, Mama Got Ass. Your mama too. You know, shit like that. And one also Juvenile record. Bam, bam. I ain't no pussy ass nigga. You understand? I'm a rapper, but I'm still a gorilla. You understand? We didn't even get that record, which is fucked up. Here's the shit. No Limit, they had records, which they should have thought about this one, because you gave us I Need a Hot Girl. They could have Master P and them could have came back with Thug Girl. Where they at? Where they at? Where they at? Okay. They could have gave us Hootie Hoo. Come on, a true record. You're doing true records already. This what 1, 2. Hootie Hoo was the biggest record. Ooh wee, they could have gave us that. I Got the Hookup. We could have got that. Wobble Wobble by 504 Boys. We didn't even get that. And be honest with you, I think that was going to be up against Back That Ass Up, but that still would have been an L. Shit, they could have had that Golds in Their Mouth. Golds in Their Mouth by Master P. Make 'Em Say Part 2 with Snoop this time. Hell, if they wanted to be a dick, they could have did the diss record to Cash Money, that Light 'Em Up. That had Master P, Silk, C Murder, and Mystical. Could have did that at least, because you got 2 out of the 4. But it's all good, man. Hip hop won on this one. Shout out to Timbaland. Shout out to Swiss Beats for giving us this magnificent moment that we never thought we would get. Shout out to everyone, Cash Money Records, for coming through. Everyone at No Limit Records for coming through. The Culture won. New Orleans won. Hip hop won. It was a moment. It was a moment. I really think they should consider Juvenile as a potential contender to, because look like Juvenile is releasing music. He's got a track out there with Swiss Beats that I think is going to be dropping next month. He might be having it's a new album. My bad. Boiling Point, I think it's called. Juvenile is going to be coming out with a new album. We need to get Juvenile in there and verses. That's one motherfucker that could really bring some noise to whoever steps in the ring with him. But it's all good. Versus, thank God you're back. I loved it. It gives you a shout out to the Culture. I can't wait to see what we got coming next. You know what I mean? So we'll see what they got coming up for the new battle. I'm going to think really hard. I wrote down back in 2020 who I think are potential contenders to face each other. When they announce the next one, I'll literally speak on the names who I think should go up next. I mean, a lot of the list got scratched off because, some things I think they should have put artists against, they actually did it. Like Fat Joe and Ja Rule, I wrote that down before it happened. Dipset and Lox, I wrote that down before it happened. So let's see what we're going to do. I mean, a lot of people are talking who 50 Cent should go against. And I think that's a definite possibility to see what that happens. You know what I'm saying? I think, God rest his soul, if DMX was still alive, DMX versus Juvenile would have been perfect. Two niggas that actually knew each other, that respected one another, came from iconic labels, Rough Riders and Cash Money. They even did a Rough Riders Cash Money tour, Cash Money Rough Riders tour. That would have been perfect, because back in 98, them two niggas were crazy going at it. Well, not at it against each other, but they were up there. You know what I mean? And Juvenile, don't forget, he was on Rough Riders Volume 1. Volume 1, he was on that. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see. Let's see what happens. We're going to get out of here. I'm your boy, Eddie Jacks. This is the Drop That Podcast. Make sure you hit the sub button, get that hype up, like the page, leave a comment if you got something to fucking say about what this episode was about, because I would love to agree to disagree. Y'all be easy, all right? Peace.